All right, we're back with Patrick Graham at his workshop, working on the CJ. He's made a little bit of progress, so we decided to come back. There are some workmen putting in some power poles, electricity in the background, so apologize for that audio issue as we move along. Maybe we won't hear it. So, Patrick, you've been busy. What are the latest sort of updates on what's been going on?
So I think last time I showed you this flipped over. This is the bottom of a Tesla Model S or X. This holds all of the either 14 or 16 modules. And I basically got this so that I could cut it apart and use it as my prototype to hold the batteries in the CJ. So over the weekend, I chopped out an entire section that would hold two separate batteries as the basis for the batteries that'll go where the original ICE engine was.
Okay, where's that part right now?
Let's take a look.
Piece you cut out. Walking over to the CJ, we got the front grille put on and one of the fenders now, just for mocking things up, I bet.
Right here. So this is the direct cutout.
Okay.
I cleaned it up so that it fit between the fenders. And then the battery is we're gonna have two sets of batteries. So one here, one here. We're gonna use the stock cover for it, and then we're gonna stack the second set on top. So it'll give us 4 batteries here. And this, reusing all of the original module enclosure pieces, make sure that it's an exact fit because all the batteries have these little pin registers. So this allows me to put this together in a prototype fashion and have no movement, which creates a lot more safety for us. Again, the wood is just for mocking up.
Right.
It won't be wood when we're done. And the original battery that came out of a Tesla is here.
And I may have misspoken last time and said it was a Model 3, but it's clearly not from a Model 3. The Model 3 module is very different, have like foam sprayed around each of the individual cells. So this is either from an S or an X.
Right. And this is a 22 approximate volt. So we're at 24.2 volts. So before I disconnected it last time, I fully charged all the modules. So this battery, in this orientation, meaning I have cooling on this side, I have power on this side, will fit right here. And what we're currently working on is trying to decide, because we don't have a clear understanding of how it rests from these fins. These fins give it exact height registration here, but we don't understand exactly how it fits inside the chamber.
So what you were saying is like these little pins, the modules sit on top of these pins, but there was a gap between the floor of this guy, and the bottom of the module, and it was like floating,
Correct.
basically. And so you felt like you needed to put a pad in there to keep it from floating. And there was nothing in the module, in the whole metal pack enclosure that you've got that led us to believe this. And we've been looking online for some videos to sort of see what material, if any, is in there, or if maybe they do just float and we just don't know, or maybe these things, because you have these little plates that you found that have these feet on them, and maybe that's enough, but it seems weird because the modules themselves have little holes in them.
Well, wait, look at this first.
Yeah.
So you see this? This is double stick tape. So
That's
my
correct,
guess
yeah.
is, when you look at any teardowns, you see this sitting here without the dots. It's just this flat.
Right.
So my guess is something is sitting here that I just missed because I wasn't part of the teardown.
Mm-hmm.
And then this sits on that thing. In my case, I put this pure silicone spacer in here. And I'm going to put these in here because these little dots magically fit exactly in these little holes.
In the module,
In the
there's
module.
like 6 little holes in each module.
And I've heard this called a EM plate, electromagnetic plate. I don't know if that's the true name of it, but they do have 0 resistance. So this must be designed so that it does not allow any electricity to pass. So there's no electricity whatsoever going to pass. Plus, this is the mounting plate, the top part of this, and it sits right here. And if you notice, it's the same material that sits here. So what they're doing is they're trying to protect the enclosure from actually having any arcing at all. So my guess is this sat on top because that's the video. I could see the videos of these. And the little alignment dots line up. And then once this is in here, I'm going to turn around and add the original cover on it. I'm going to cut it up. And I'll put a second layer on top with a second 2 sets of batteries. And that'll give me my front 4 batteries.
And do you think that the cover, because this is like pretty substantial metal,
quarter inch,
right?
yep, aluminum.
And the lid is thinner than that. Do you think once you cut it up, I mean, you have some support ribs over there, and we can go take a look at it. But like, do you feel like the battery's going to be sitting on top of one another, and it doesn't matter? Like,
well, it's a great question. So there's a couple different videos out there. If you remember, in the S and the X, they either came in 2 flavors, 14 modules or 16 modules. In the 16 module version, the penthouse, meaning the very end, has 2 of them stacked on top of each other. Every teardown I've seen shows nothing separating the 2 modules except a simple one of these.
Okay.
So I don't know the answer if that's enough. If one of these can safely sit on another one without adding any risk of collapse, that's what I'm trying to figure out now. If that's the case, then it saves weight, and and if it's safe, I'll go exactly with that. I'll add the second one. The second layer is right on top.
Yeah, I mean, when I originally came over and you said that, I was concerned that like there'd be some heat issues, and so one of the comments that we got from the first video, somebody asked, what are the cooling, how are these batteries going to be cooled in this conversion that you're doing? Is that something that you've already, I'm assuming you've planned for it?
Yes.
Is there something you can kind of show us how that's going to work?
One of the things I'm pretty hardcore about is making mock-ups. So what I did was I took a Model S or X water pump out, and there in each of those types of cars, there's 2 of these.
And is this the pump that they use inside to do the cooling now for
Yes.
the batteries? Okay.
This is a Tesla Model S cooling pump.
Okay. All right.
It can have 3 or 4 different orientations, but mostly it generally sits, I believe, like this. So I use this just to test it to make sure that it actually pumped water. It's a low flow, easy on, easy off motor. It can also be used with a pulse wave modulation or a pulse width modulator. You don't really need that because we don't need to speed up or reduce the amount of speed for which the coolant is going to go through. We'll leave it at a constant speed of just on, which is its default. The only issue is, staying there, Tom, if I have the last 3 batteries back here and the 4 front batteries up front, should I go ahead and add the second cooling pump to give it a little bit more push to move the fluid all the way around? I've already decided to make this my wet side and that my hot side. So electricity will flow on that side, and all the water and non-essential communication will flow on this side. So I might add a second pump back here just to make it a little less taxing for the front pump. So I might do that. And here's an additional pump that I got as well. So this is what they look like.
And are these thermally controlled? Like, is there a sensor that's like, hey, it's hot, turn on, or is it just always on?
I'm going to go with always on when the vehicle's on. I don't need to, again, I don't need to use the PW pulse width modulation, PWM. I don't need to do that. I don't need to speed it up or slow it down. I'm not really worried about it.
Okay.
If I am, I can add pulse wave to it. There's 4 wires that come off of it, and I've already isolated those, and I have a schematic of it, so I could add that later if I wanted to.
Okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to show us since the last time we were out here?
No, not really. Still working on the coupler. I need the coupler to get done.
Right.
And I need the adapter plate. Other than that, I'm just going to keep pushing on with how I'm going to store all 7 of these batteries in there safely.
And that thing. All right, man. Well, thank you very much for inviting us back over. We're going to keep on keeping back, and people are watching it. They're interested in what you're doing. They're excited to see a CJ back on the road, electrified and in good time. So there's a lot of people pulling for you, which must feel pretty good.
Yeah.
And we'll keep going. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. See you next time.